I'm Jimmy Dulin.
And I'm Tyler Roicki.
And this is ABC. What's ABC? Well, it's
Agent
Broker
Conversations
where we talk about everything real estate
without a bias.
And this is episode 0, where we're just getting started.
That's right. So, Jimmy, let's start with just having some fun here. Got a few simple questions for you. And, I think our audience is going to get to know each of us here very quickly in the process. But even before we talk real estate, book smarts or street smarts? Which are you?
100% street smarts.
Okay, right on. Now, saying you did read, if you were to read a book or something of that nature, would you prefer to, hit a nonfiction book, or would you watch a documentary instead, given the choice?
So I missed some of my time driving because I would listen to a lot of audiobooks. So right now I am more documentary than I am reading.
Okay, interesting. Speaking of driving, let's say if you were to travel anywhere, let's say that someone was going to cover all the expenses. You didn't even have to think about that part of it, but where would you want to go in the world if you had an all expenses paid trip anywhere?
Ooh, world. So not just driving. I could fly, boat, anywhere. So I'm a boater. I think right now, if I could do anything I wanted, I would do the Great Loop with my wife.
Where's that?
The Great Loop is most people take about 6 months to do it. So let's just say we started in Florida, on the east coast of Florida. You go all the way up the east coast into New York, back down through the Great Lakes, through the Chicago River down to the Ohio River over to the Kentucky River to Tennessee River back down to the Gulf of Mexico. At that point, you can go around Florida, or you can go through. Tampa has a bypass that goes through.
That'd be quite the voyage. Wow. That sounds interesting. This one may or may not be difficult. I don't know. You tell me, but would you rather be embarrassed or afraid?
Embarrassed or afraid? Oh, embarrassed.
Okay. Now
I have to. You got to know something, Tyler. I'm embarrassed all the time because I screw up a lot.
Okay, well, that's refreshing to hear from someone who spent so many years as a broker. So it says a lot about your character. Would you rather work from the office or work from home?
100% the office.
Okay. What about introvert or extrovert? Which speaks to you the most?
Well, everybody would say extrovert, but I'm definitely an introvert.
I can relate a lot to that. What about growth or security?
Growth.
Okay.
I'm not even sure how to spell security because it's just not in my vocabulary.
What about sports? You like sports? You have a favorite team?
Football-wise, Colts.
Okay.
But my favorite sports to watch is motor racing.
Okay, motor racing. What specifically within the realm of motor racing?
Open wheel. I'm an IndyCar. Being from Indianapolis, I'm an IndyCar fan as well as F1. So I like open wheel, Grand Prix style racing.
Okay, that's really cool. Favorite band, artist of any sort?
I you know what? I don't put anything in I have such a small amount of capacity in my brain that I don't have a lot of information in there that is useless to me. So I don't know music. I mean, my wife would tell you I don't know a darn thing. I know food and real estate, and I know how to build culture, and I got a really small few things I can do okay at.
On that note, what's your favorite food?
Well, I like soul food. I'm a barbecue guy by heart, but I went to culinary school, so I can cook anything. Last night was my wife's birthday, and I made her a butter poached cod with asparagus and rice, and turned out beautiful. So I can do anything, but truth be told, I love sitting around with a cigar and a bourbon next to a smoker.
That's awesome. So if we're at the same event or something, I definitely want you doing the cooking. And then last fun question, then we'll talk some more real estate. But what's your dream car?
Oh man, I have so many cars. I've got a 1914, a Porsche 914 right now, and I want to have it resto mod with 1511 out of England. That would be right now today, if I could either that or I'd love a 993 by Singer. Those would be, I don't know, Porsches. I'm a Porsche guy. So Porsche, and I like Ford trucks.
That's awesome. Yeah, a Singer would be incredible. Yeah, I can only imagine. But yeah, let's talk more real estate if you're up for that. I mean, I feel like we both kind of live and breathe it at this point. But what age, Jimmy, did you decide to pursue a career in real estate?
1991, September 91, 21 years old, dropped out of college and started into real estate.
And why did you do that?
I read a book, The Art of the Deal. And it was the first book I had ever read cover to cover. I read it over a weekend, walked into class, raised my hand, and told my professor that I was done.
That's interesting. Come to think of it, that was probably one of the first books I read related to real estate too.
Oh, really? No, it was my first book, period. No, I didn't say real estate. I said first book.
Okay. And then what was the best year you had production wise? You remember when that was as an agent?
2007, 30 million.
30 million. And what was your number one lead source that year?
It was referrals. The year prior, 2006, started a campaign called Falling on the Sword, and I called everybody I'd ever sold a house to. So I started in 1991, and in 2007, I went through and called every single client and had a really short script. It went like this. We'll role play it, Tyler. You answer when I call. Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hey, Tyler, Jimmy Dulin. Does the name ring a bell?
No.
No, that's unfortunate, and that's my fault, Tyler. See, I'm the guy that sold you your house, but I've done a horrible job keeping in touch with you. Does the name ring a bell now?
Oh, yeah, Jimmy. Yeah. I know who you are now.
I knew I did a terrible job, Tyler, because I've never gotten any referrals from you. And typically by now, 3 years into it, I've received 3 or 4 referrals a year. So it's my fault. I'd like to correct that. How can I do that with you, Tyler? Is it too late, or would you allow me an opportunity to mend that relationship?
I mean, sure, Jimmy. I mean, what do you have in mind? I'm definitely open to repairing the relationship here if that's what you want to think it is.
And that's how it went. So I called every client I'd ever sold a house to, and that was what the conversation was like. Most people, when you take responsibility, most people will rescue you. You were a little harder than the average person, because most people are like, oh my gosh, of course I know your name, Jimmy. And then I'd say, well, I wasn't sure because I never gotten any referrals from you. That's not your fault. It's my fault for not doing a better job of communicating with you. But that's how it went down.
Okay. And at some point you shifted gears and became a broker. What was your best year as a broker?
2007 was my best year because that was my last year. And 2008, I bought my brokerage. And 2016, the brokerage that I was building and had built, we did right at $1 billion in sales, about $984 million, about 4,500 transactions. So that was our best year ever.
And what made you decide to pursue a broker's license after the success you saw as an agent?
Well, I had 2 children. I have 2 children, and I wanted to be a dad more than anything in the world. I was married, wanted to be a husband, and I didn't take those responsibilities lightly, and they were more important to me. So I was looking for a way to create income without it hinging solely on my ability to sell a house. So a little bit from a lot of people versus a lot from just me. And that was the philosophy. So I went down that path, which, the proverbial happy wife, happy life. So it worked. It worked great for my family. And I enjoyed it. I found that I was much more passionate about teaching, coaching, mentoring, training other people and helping other people and helping grow their business than I was about me selling more real estate. It just no longer it just didn't fulfill me the way that the others did, the other opportunities did.
Yeah, that's really cool to hear that. But I'd imagine it hasn't been an easy journey, throughout the whole brokerage building process. So, like, what was the biggest challenge you had to face as a franchise brokerage owner?
Profitability is probably the biggest challenge. You're working on a thin margin. Somebody else is making decisions above you that you have no decision about. And it becomes their choice of change, and that change can have a negative impact or a positive impact on you, but it's nobody knows until the impact hits, and sometimes it's reeling to fix it. But the hardest thing was the text that you got and said, Jimmy, I love you to death. You're the best broker ever. I'll always be thankful, but I'm going to go to X, Y, or Z because I think they can help me get to the next level. That was the one. It always struck you in the gut, and it was just it hurt.
What's your favorite part? Being around the industry so long, what do you love most about real estate?
Oh, the relationships, 100%. The friends that I've made along my journey. I've been with technically 3 companies in my life, but one of them 6 months, one of them 33 years, and now my current one for just a couple of years. So, but the relationships that I've built along the way are by far my favorite part of everything that's happened.
Yeah, that's something really special about real estate and working in it. But what would you say for you, do you like least about working in real estate?
Gosh, I don't know. I don't, there's nothing that I generally dislike. Right now, today, I have 2 responsibilities. One is to grow agents, help agents develop themselves into the agent that they wish to be, or the team leader, or the broker, or anything else, whatever it is that they're trying to do with their business. That's my number one. My number 2 is agent attraction. So I'm developing agents and attracting agents, and those are really my 2 roles. And that's why I'm in the position that I'm in today, because I moved away from the 3rd role, which was the administrative aspects of owning a very large brokerage. Because with my previous brand, I was 14th largest in the entire industry for them, and with that, I had $1 million in payroll and lots of other obligations and things that pulled me away from doing the 2 things I want to do, and that's meet with agents to talk to them and share with them what we have to offer and why we think we can help them be better, and then with the agents that are with us, helping them become better and maximizing their business and their opportunities. So, yeah, I'm only doing the things I like right now, honestly.
That's a great spot to be in. Who would you say is your role model? Maybe, it may or may not be now, but even looking back over the course of your career, like, who would you say that person was?
Well, if I were to pick a single person, my grandfather probably had some of the largest impact on me in my life. He wasn't really, I wouldn't say a business role model, because he was a W-2 employee, but he had worked incredibly hard, came from very meager beginnings. But, so I would certainly put Grandpa in there because of everything he accomplished. In terms of real estate, I've had a lot of people come in my life and inspire me and help me from a real estate perspective. So that list would be pretty long. And there's not a person that's been with me the whole journey. There are people that have influenced me and impacted me and helped me at different parts of that journey. So the real estate role models would go on forever, because My wife and I and our family did the Strength Finders. I don't know if you've ever done that or are familiar with it, but one of the strengths that I have is identifying something in other people. So that's one of my strengths. So I, even you, when I met you, I reached out to you because I saw something like, I was like, man, this guy's really got some great information from his background and what he's done. So so many people have had an impact. So even if, my new friend Tyler right next to me, you've had an impact on me as well, friend.
That's amazing. What's the greatest thing, in your life up to this point that you'd say you have achieved?
I've been married 26 years.
That's awesome.
I mean, it is. Having fallen in love, and I joke around. I joke around about falling in love because you don't ask the right questions when you fall in love. Like, you ask them if they like Italian food or they like steaks or if they like basketball or they like football. But what you don't ask them are the really important questions, the ones that'll really mess up a relationship. It's questions like, do you dress up for Halloween? Things like that could really turn a relationship upside down. Because if you dress up for Halloween and I don't, man, every Halloween we've got a problem, right? I'm not a costume guy. Thankfully, I married a non-costume woman. But things like that. But yeah, I'm lucky. 26 years married, 28 years together, 2 beautiful children. So I'm incredibly thankful for all of that.
I love to hear that. What's one goal or dream that you have that you haven't yet achieved that you see real estate being the vehicle through which you'll be able to accomplish it?
Well, right now I'm experiencing a dream, and that dream is building this new organization, but being able to do it with my son. So my 25-year-old son has joined us, and to say that's a dream doesn't even begin to touch on it. So from a personal level, I want to do the Great Loop. I'll get back to that again. And my wife wants to spend a year in a Airstream trailer traveling around. So we've got some travel ideas, but right now the dream as it pertains to work is the ability to build my new company with my son. It's just I can't even explain how valuable that is to me.
I can only imagine. That's incredible. And then if you could share one piece of wisdom with your 18-year-old self, or maybe 20, maybe a better way to think is a 21-year-old self, because I know that's when you got started in real estate. So we'll say your 21-year-old self, given everything you've learned up to this point in your life, what would that be?
Well, I would say read every single. I mean, I wish I had gone to law school. I wish I had become an attorney. And had I become an attorney, I think I would have done a few things different. And primarily, I built a fairly large real estate company. But as that company continued to grow, it came with restrictions that I was just unaware of. And it was through my own negligence because it was in black and white. I guess I just saw the good in everybody and didn't believe that that some of the restrictions were legit. So if I told my 18 self or 20-year-old self again, I'd say read everything before you sign it. Read it twice, 3 times maybe, and it's worth probably paying somebody who can read it for you.
Makes sense. Yeah, hindsight's always 2020.
Amen.
What do you hope to accomplish with ABC?
So yeah, I mean, I think this agent broker conversation is, this stemmed from yours and my conversation, and realizing that through our experiences we bring different things to the table. I've wanted to get into some sort of podcasting format. I've wanted to share. So I guess for me, what I'm hoping for is I'm hoping for I'm hoping to be able to share my experiences as a broker owner with people who can learn from them and maybe find some value. So if something that you and I can share is impactful or helpful to another person, I'll be tickled to death. I'll be beside myself, and I will think it was a absolute 100% success. But otherwise, I want to have some fun. I want to unbiasedly talk about anything and everything we can. I'd love to create a following of people who are interested, and I'd love people to interact with us and share and ask questions and, challenge us to go do more research or whatever. So yeah, it'll be all good. All right, let's flip the seat here. You get on the hot seat.
Okay, I'm there.
Where were you licensed?
July 2015.
Favorite car?
Pagani.
Oh man, you're expensive.
Oh yes.
What year are you going to get one?
2030 would be the that would be ideal, but 2030s is definitely the goal with that. And yeah, if anyone knows, it is quite an expensive car, but yeah.
All right. So, have you spent your entire career as a agent, and so never been the broker owner of a firm?
Correct. I've never been a broker. In Texas, I meet. I met all the broker requirements except taking the exam. I think I even took the additional course. I just never pursued the license on the broker side.
And you're located whereabouts?
In Texas. I'm from San Antonio. So, I kind of still think of that as home today, even though I live West Texas, but, perhaps soon we'll come back to the Central Texas area.
And what companies have you been affiliated with?
I started with Keller Williams in 2015. And then after 8 months there and getting my first couple deals done, I switched to a local so-called 100% brokerage, independent. And then I was there for another 8 months, closed quite a few more deals there with some momentum being built. And then after eight months with the independent, I joined eXp Realty.
What year was that?
December 2016 is when I joined eXp Realty.
Okay. All right. So you've been with eXp for quite a while.
Oh yeah.
All right. And so what was the driving force between the changes? Was it your evolution as an agent? Was it the models? Was it the tools, the compensation? Like what drove you from your first change to your second change?
So I was happy with Keller Williams until a friend caused me to, think about it a little bit. And, this was someone actually that they basically started within the same month I did. So it's another younger man who I became friends with. Funny, like for me, being a young person getting in the business, and maybe you can relate to this. I just couldn't find a lot of other young people in the business. So the moment I came across someone, we became instant friends. It's like we were the only two people in our 20s. Actually, I think he was like 19 or something, but we were the only two young people in the whole office. So anyway, like at one point he came to me, he's like, hey, I'm actually looking at other brokerages. I was like confused. I'm like, why? Don't you love Keller Williams? And he's like, yeah, but we're paying him so much money and I just don't really feel like the value's there. And I never really thought about it until he said that. And then I started thinking, you know what? I joined them for the training. I haven't attended it since my first month. And they didn't really have new training for me to plug into on an ongoing basis. So I'm like, well, so what are you looking at? And he told me, and that's where, he told me about this independent. And he was telling me, oh, they let you keep all your commission minus the flat fee. I'm like, oh, really? I didn't even know that was a possibility. And he told me about the broker. I'm like, he sounds like he's pretty smart. Can you introduce me to him? So he did. I had a conversation. I'm like, wow, this guy's really smart. He's, got a really good setup here. And for me, it was the right fit at the time. So that's why I moved. Again, it's kind of funny. I was happy, but, I didn't really realize what other opportunities were out there at that point until I found that one. And I never imagined I want to change from that because, I went from paying a very significant chunk of my commission with KW to keeping darn near 100%. I mean, I thought it was pretty sweet that I could keep basically 100% minus, $300 and some change per deal without even being a broker. Because I thought, okay, you have to have like a broker's license to keep that much of your commission. But, so I basically felt like I had it made, and I was very, very happy. And if that weren't good enough on the money side, the broker actually was super helpful whenever I needed something. Very easy to find and talk to, always willing to take the time to help me. I mean, he even gave me a spot I could just set up shop and work in the local office since no one else was really using it. And so just like a lot of value I was getting. But at one point I closed the deal with an agent with EXP, which at the time, no one really knew what EXP was. And even to this day, I mean, a lot of people, what they know is really based on who they've known up to this point in their lives, what they, kind of understand about the company and what's behind it. But anyway, I got to know this agent, also someone who started with KW and was there for quite a while. And I learned more about how they, over the course of last year, kind of, made a change to this new model. And anyway, I ended up looking at it, and I was pretty mind blown to say the least. And like so much so that it prompted me to actually switch gears from, again, a situation I was more than happy with, I was ecstatic with, to completely leaving that behind and coming on board with this new model, because I saw a vision with what EXP offered that no matter how much I liked the broker, or no matter, the fact that I was keeping most of my commissions, I saw an opportunity to build something bigger that would be more impactful for me, my family, and other agents that I could even potentially help along the way through the structure that EXP had that I didn't have at my previous two brokerages.
So, by the way, you described what I told you was my worst feeling. You said that guy treated you well. You had a great split. He was always available. You had good value, and yet you left. So you just described exactly my worst nightmare as a broker owner.
Yeah. I mean, I really think it made a lasting impact on him. There's more to that story probably for another time, but I think that, he definitely did not appreciate losing me, although he took it very graciously. But I completely could imagine, the flip side of that. Must be difficult.
So, but the bottom line is that there are so many different seats on the real estate bus, right? And it's because, there's 1.4 million realtors. So the number of people means that the significant number of business models to accommodate. So, you and I we have our preferences. We've made decisions for ourselves and our teams, et cetera. But the bottom line is there's great options everywhere, right?
Oh yeah, of course. There's great people everywhere.
That was a question. Yeah. So I think it is. I mean, I think that the bottom line is, my past affiliation was with Remax. I was there 33 years. I love the organization. I never, ever thought I would leave the organization. But in the end, as I evolve, as they evolve, as people go through their processes, things change. And there was a time when it made sense for me to leave, and just like it made sense for you. It's not always about where you left. It could just be about who you've become and what you aspire to be, right?
Oh, of course.
Yeah. So, what are you hoping to accomplish with ABC?
Yeah, I'm hoping to reach people that could really benefit from listening in on our conversations, with the two unique perspectives that we bring, from the broker side of things, that Jimmy brings to the table, having owned and operated one of the most productive franchise brokerages in the United States, and then my perspective, not having gone down that path, but having developed as an agent, hitting a goal I had, early on in the business to make my first 6 figures, in commissions, and to be able to do that every year, to building that into more of the agent, really the team building side of things. Cause what I do today is, helping agents personally grow, develop, and really take the lessons I've learned and just help them fast track where it is they're going in the process. But I hope that our platform here would reach more people that could benefit from just listening in on our conversations, to help them grow and progress on whatever level that might be, in their business and their life. And that's the biggest thing, is just to have, it's been something on my mind as well for quite some time. I mean, I listen to podcasts every day. It's something that I've, always been kind of thinking as far as, how I'm going to utilize that, not just as a listener, as I think many of us are, but, for me, I've always, recognized that this is a, very powerful way to reach and to get a message out there to people that need to hear it. So that's my biggest thing. And however big that audience is, whether it's a few people or a few hundred, few thousand, whatever it is, I just, people that can benefit from these conversations and apply some of the lessons and wisdom and whatnot that they get from hearing us chat it up here.
So why don't you give us the nickel tour of your current business, as so that when we're done with episode 0 here, we won't have to bore people with our life's history, right? We can just talk about fascinating and interesting topics. So your role today, your organization, the size of it, you've said you're with EXP, so we've got that part. But why don't you give us kind of who Tyler is today and his current role, and that way it kind of shapes your perspective that you're going to bring to our conversation.
For sure. So today I run a real estate sales organization spanning over 30 states. It's about 280 agents as of today. And, I have a tighter knit group. I call it a team. It's not a traditional local team, but, for me, I call it a team, and, the people who are part of it understand it. But it's more of kind of a culture that's been built out with that, where there's a like-mindedness, a lot of similar goals between the members of that. And for most of them, it's about, kind of twofold: building their production-based business and income that comes with that today, serving clients on the buy, sell, investing side of the business. And all of them share a goal of not only wanting to have a great income that they're providing for them and their families in real estate, but they also want to secure themselves financially for the future, specifically utilizing real estate as a vehicle to do that, which, as I've come to find, is kind of a unusual thing in our industry. I feel like it shouldn't be, but according to NAR, 95% of realtors don't invest in real estate besides their house if they own it. But that's kind of a common vision and mission with the team. And for me, it's about helping people who are part of that get there. And then over time, if I meet people that, that there's alignment between where the team's going and, where they were wanting to go, there's an opportunity for the right people with that. But what I do is more from the leadership standpoint, just helping agents grow, develop, and build their business. And, with that, my organization grows as well, just based on helping other agents find success within it. And again, what's unique about my business, I'd say, compared to a lot of times you hear the word team, usually team is a local thing. Mine, to me, it doesn't matter where someone's at geographically, because I have the ability to, help with a lot of the key resources and things they'll need to grow personally, professionally, as well as to take their business and, build upon the production wherever they're starting with today, whether it's, whether they're already closing 10 deals a year and want to take that to 15 or 20, or whether they're starting at ground zero and just trying to figure out how to build up that initial client base. I have, different ways to help different people depending on where they're at on the journey within my team.
And it's called
The Herd.
Gotcha. Excellent. And you're and the Herd is based out of Texas.
Well, I'm based out of Texas, but the herd's everywhere.
Yeah, but I mean, like, since you're there and you're the leader of it,
Sure.
yeah. I mean, that's what I don't know. Maybe it's wrong. You're far more versed in the EXP world. So again, from my perspective, same question to me. I joined EXP, and in June of this year, June of 2024, I formed Clubhouse RE, and so versus you being in 30 states, we now have branch offices in 3 states: New Jersey, Indiana, and Jacksonville, Florida. So we've got 3 branch offices. Got a couple more that are supposed to be coming online here pretty shortly. And we do not have 300 in our organization. We're hovering around 70 with again, started in June. So we've been in business now 90 days. Aspirations, goals for this year would be to get to 100 by the end of the year. And I used the same mission statement that I used from my previous brokerage, as well as the one I used for my life, and it's inspire people, create opportunities, and support dreams. So that's the mission that we use. It's been fun. It's been growing. But at any event, that's it. That's who we are. So now, anybody, when you hear our perspective, I guess you can add credibility, or you can discount it based on knowing a little bit more about us. We're both married. We're both incredibly handsome. I mean, these are things that are very factual, right? Tyler is a lot stronger and a lot younger than I am, but I know that we both enjoy the corner seat at a good bar in Seattle, and that's how we met. So at any event, at a conference. So Tyler, format. This is going to happen. Frequency for us doing this.
Yep. So you'll find new episodes weekly going forward. At whatever point in time you found this, it's going to be weekly. Perhaps there comes a point in time that it's more often, but at the very minimum, you're going to have something new to put in your ear on a weekly basis with the agent broker conversations.
And this is episode 0. So episode 1, we're going to shoot on September 16th. And then after that, it'll be every week thereafter, unless there's some special editions, or like you said, we decide more frequently as necessary. So, I think at this point, unless you got any other housekeeping or any other information, we're gonna set up some subjects. We're gonna both do our research and come at it from our respective positions as a broker and as an agent. Although we're both listed as team leaders within our current organization at EXP, but we're going to take our experience and use that to bring hopefully a couple different perspectives from it, and not share our perspectives before we get on air. So if we disagree, we disagree. We're going to have to, we're going to have to be nice. I got to always be respectful of the fact you're bigger and stronger. So I don't ever want to totally offend you, although we're far apart. So it'd be hard for you to catch me. I could certainly run far away from you. But at any event, I think just welcoming you guys back to the conversation week in and week out. Come back, join us. We will provide, Tyler's working on it, a way for you to get questions, comments, etc. If there's a subject you want us to research, we'd love to research it for you, right? I mean, I think that would be even more fun, is if somebody else said, hey, I want to know about this platform, this CRM, this whatever. And we'll do what we can, right? And see where it goes.
Yeah. We'll give, we want those who are listening and watching to have a way to interact and engage. And so we're going to make it easier to do that in the future, especially if there's anything you would like insight on from the agent perspective, broker. I mean, you'll get both perspectives either way, but we're excited to have you all involved in the conversation here in the near future.
Tune back in to ABC Agent Broker Conversation, and you will find these two handsome devils doing their best to talk about real estate with an unbiased approach. Have a great day.